to 3 parts, and they'll probably be about 3 hours apiece. 3 parts for the more dense subjects like property or con law. I think those had 3 parts. Either way. So let's say you start with contracts. You're going to watch a lecture, you're going to answer those activity questions, and then they'll do some MBE style questions. Then you'll switch to lecture 2. It'll give you more activity questions based on the information that was presented in the lecture, and more MBE questions. Mm-hmm. Then the next day, let's say the next, personally, unless there's a subject you don't know at all, I was of the belief I was trying to mix subjects as early as possible with Adaptabar. Mm-hmm. So from the beginning, I just did all of the subjects, and I tried to do maybe 25 questions a day, just at the end of the day or in the beginning, however you want to do it. Do about 25 questions a day just to get a feel for it, start to get your tolerance, your endurance is a better word, not your tolerance, your endurance up, because you're going to have to do 100 in one sitting. Right. And then as it got on and I started to see areas where I was weak, then I would start to target and say, okay, let me do 50 questions straight contracts, or let me do 50 questions my 2 weekest, let me do 50 evidence of property because I'm really struggling there, or whatever. Or right. I'd say let me do 25 or 50 mixed, and then 25 contracts, 25, and I did that way.
Right. There's a couple of different companies out there that create their own supplements so that you can have other resources to practice questions on. So I know PMBR is like one other popular course that has like 1,300 MBE question bank that you can pay for, and like full-length simulated exams. And then I think Emmanuel is another one that was recommended, and Critical Pass has like flashcards and stuff of like just like the black letter law. So I just wanted to know like if you use any of those other commercial resources.
So I did Barbri, which we get for free. And then what I found to be very helpful personally, I got the Critical Pass flashcards. There are a lot, and I got both the MBE subjects and the MEE subjects, which is all of the subjects are just like, so you have 15 decks of cards, and for crim law, common law, like they're fat subjects, so they're a lot. But I got both of those, and then for me, what I did was Adaptabar. I don't know if anyone has talked to you about it.
Yeah, Adaptabar was kind of like talked about in lieu of PMBR. It's kind of like the same sort of thing.
I didn't compare it to anything else, but I really liked Adaptabar personally. Mm-hmm. So it's just MBE questions across all the subjects that get tested on the MBE. And I really liked it. I thought it was super helpful, especially towards the end for crunch time. It's just great for practice of doing questions quickly in a timed environment. So right. They have a bunch of different options for how you could do questions. You can do it 1-by-1 style, which is just like practice mode. So you see one question at a time. It tells you how long it took you to answer, and then it gives you the reason why each choice is either right or wrong, and it keeps track of your progress across subjects as well. Mm-hmm. So you can pick which subjects you want to answer questions for. So you can say, today is just a contracts question day, or you can say I want all of them, or you can say I just want contracts and crim pro.
Whatever issue you have with me, wait till July 30th.
Pocket, pocket it.
Yes. Like we are not talking about that until July 30th.
Protect your mental health and anybody else. This is like obviously your friends who are not in law school, because I feel like friends who are not in law school or friends who did not go to med school, nursing school friends are sometimes, but like friends who are not in med school or who are not doctors if they're not doctors, they just don't understand. Right. So anybody's issues, like this is just all my opinion, by the way. For these next 3 months, nobody's issues is your issue. Right. Like. Everybody needs to be texting you positive stuff. Like, you cannot y'all leave me alone for 3 months. Like, it literally needs to be like that. Like, everybody leave me alone for 3 months.
Yeah.
The only people you're probably going to talk to are all your, like, everybody else is taking the bar because y'all going to all understand.
Right.
It's like,
To New York, I need to take the bar exam. If I come to New York, you're taking away a few days of my time where I could be studying for the bar exam. I cannot do that. Like, my dad got, he was kind of irritated this past weekend. He was like, oh, when's the next time you come to New York? You haven't been to New York since, last year or whatever. And I'm like, Dad, I can't think about that right now. Like, everybody needs to be pouring into me and, just encouraging me to, lock myself away and get this done. This is the last step.
That's it.
Last hurdle.
We have one hitter quitter.
Right.
One hitter. The only time you need to take this again is if you're like
going to another. Going to a state that's not UBE.
Go ahead.
No, I think you were talking about the MEE.
Oh yeah. So when you start an MEE, call me. Like, let me know. Or start an MEE, say, like, call me.
Right.
Call me, please. You'll be good. Like, when I promise.
That's the one where you they give you the materials and you.
No, that's the NPT.
Oh,
that's the one that you have. Was it 90 minutes for 2 questions or something like that?
Oh yeah, the big essays. Yeah.
Yeah, the big essay. The MEE is a small essay.
Right.
Where you're just like, you're doing, it's systematic. You're just like, the issue here, they ask you whatever.
Hey guys, so in the last 2 clips you saw me talking with 2 of my friends. So both of them did pass the bar last year, both on their first try. So I figured they would be great people to discuss bar preparation and keys to success with. And both of them pretty much had the same kind of advice as far as getting supplemental material alongside of doing the bar prep course itself. So both of them, they did take Barbri, like I'm about to, and they said that one of their criticisms was that the MBE, which is the multiple choice section of the exam, they felt like the practice multiple choice questions on Barbri were not sufficient for their studies. Like, they felt like the questions weren't like targeted enough, and they felt like they were just not giving them the confidence that they needed for the multiple choice. So they both went out and got purchased like multiple choice questions from different companies. So one used PMBR and another one used, my other friend, she used Adaptabar. So those are 2 different programs that basically provide like question banks of thousands of questions. And they basically both suggested that I do like basically build up my endurance to do multiple choice. Like, ultimately I'm going to have to do 100 multiple choice questions in one sitting in 3 hours. So, that's pretty much what I'm going to be required to do on the first day of the exam twice. So I'm going to have to do 100 questions in the morning in 3 hours and 100 questions in the evening in 3 hours. So basically I have to start building on my endurance to sit down and do 100 questions in 3 hours. So I thought that was very, very good advice, because I found that in law school, the best way to prepare for an exam is to do practice problems. Like, old exams is the best way to prepare, honestly. You can sit up and like review your notes all day long, but if you don't start applying your knowledge, I feel like, you're not really setting yourself up for, best success on an exam. So I'm really glad I spoke to both of them. So yeah, like I said, I just finished the first lecture of the MBE immersion. So now the first subject is Civ Pro. So I will be watching a hour-long lecture about civil procedure. And this is the interface of Barbri. So let me close this real quickly. And these are all the assignments here. So as you can see, the immersion topics are first before we actually get into learning and doing the lectures. So it shows you all the assignments that you have for today. So these are all the things that I have to do today. And it shows you over here how many hours of work you have to complete for the day.
So I have 4.8 hours. Oh, sorry. These are the hours over here. So yeah, it shows you how many hours you have left for today. So I have 4.8 hours left, and these are all the assignments that will comprise of that time. So on this side is where you'll see your recommendations for the assignment you should do. This is, if you click this button here, it will show you the entire course. So like all the assignments for the entire course. They break it up by week, and then I guess if you do it by recommendations, it breaks it up by day. So this is what today's assignments list is. Then you have the classroom schedule. So this is basically if you want to watch the lecture in real time as one of the instructors are teaching it, you can go, and then that way you can listen to someone teach it live. But of course it's available if you're not available to do it at that time. So then this is the last tab I see where it has like basically extra practice for people who want to practice something specific, and it's broken down by subject. So yeah, then you can filter out the assignments by subject as well. You can filter up the type of assignment if you want to do, if you just want to work on your skills, if you want to do an actual timed exam, or if you just want to do one of the assignments. And then you could track your progress as far as like what kind of assignments you've completed already and things that you haven't done. And then you can also break down the assignments by time. So if you want to do something, if you only have an hour right now, you can do something that says less than an hour, and you could just choose an assignment that way as well. So this is how the Barbri website looks. This is my portal.
Our instructors, Sam Farkas. Thanks, Chuck. Hey, everybody. I'm a Barbri instructor and also lead curriculum architect for MBE instruction here at Barbri. This first workshop.
So, y'all, Aiden is going to daycare starting Monday, and I think you guys could tell how thrilled I am, because I need 10 hours of my day to just focus on this exam uninterrupted without a baby. You know, it was it was cute while I was in school taking care of him and doing and juggling schoolwork and my case and all that, but y'all know I can't play around with this exam, and he got to go into daycare because, you know, we don't have any other option as far as who can watch him while I prepare. So starting Monday is going to be the first day that I do the actual Barbri course. Like, I'm going to start on Monday, even though it's not supposed to start till June 1st. I just want to start because what am I going to do all next week? Just sit around the house? So I was like, no, I'm just going to get started with studying. There's really no reason for me to wait to June 1st. Like, it's not like I'm going on a trip or Dada at work. Dada coming back. But yeah, so I'm gonna start on Monday, but for the next few days I'm going to try to get this is the question bank, and here you can designate like which types of subjects, like which subjects you want to do. So these are, okay, Aiden, these are all the subjects. So they have all the questions that will, all the subjects that will, okay, Aiden, mama doing something. All the subjects that appear in the MBE. So these are all the subjects here: con law, contracts, crim, evidence, civ pro, property, and torts. And as you see here, it has 1,265 questions. So that's a little concerning because they did say they have 1,300 plus. So maybe the other questions are in the book that they're sending me. But yeah, so basically you can filter which subjects you want to test yourself on. Hey guys, so I hope the quality is better because I purchased like this vlogs studio thing set up for a smartphone. So hopefully you guys notice a difference in this clip. But yeah, so I just did my first day. I just did my first quiz, on PMBR. And as I was saying before, PMBR is basically like a supplement to the bar prep course. So what I plan to do every day is I plan to start off my studying with doing a quiz, a timed quiz of a certain amount of questions. So today I started off with doing 25 questions, and eventually by next month I want to work up to doing 100 questions per day. So I'm going to do each day I'm going to do the quiz, and then I'm going to get started with my assignments in my bar prep course. So as you can see here, I just finished the first quiz, and y'all see all them X's. So I did 25 questions. I only got 7 right. So I have a lot of work to do, but that's fine because I haven't started any lectures. The course does not actually start till next week. So like, I'm just getting in the rhythm of getting through questions in a certain amount of time. So I did finish all 25 questions in 45 minutes because you have about 1.8 minutes to, which is like a minute 45, I think, for each question. So yeah, pretty much at first I thought I wasn't gonna finish, but then I had like a minute and 15 seconds left over because I skipped a question because I had no idea what it was about. So I skipped the question, and then I had a minute and 15 seconds left. So I went back to the question when I was done with the other 24 questions, and I was able to just guess in that last question. And obviously I got it wrong because I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what a lot of the, like, I knew the topic of most all the questions except for that one question. I could pinpoint the topic and try to remember what the rules were and stuff like that. But that one question I could not figure out if it was a property question, if it was a contracts question. I just did not know what was going on. So but yeah, so pretty much I about to review the questions. I got all the questions, even the ones I got right, because it could have just been a guess, honestly. So yeah, my goal is, like I said, in a couple of weeks time I want to work my way up to doing 100 questions in one sitting every single day. So yeah, I want to be able to just, I think my biggest struggle with exams in general is not finishing on time. So that's why I'm like really focusing on making sure that I'm getting used to that time pressure of getting through questions in a certain amount of time. So yeah, I'm about to go through all these questions now, and I'll let you guys know how PMBR is going, if I like the questions, but yeah. Alright, so guys, I wanted to show you guys quickly my quizzes that I've been doing on PMBR. So as you can see, I've done a quiz every day since Monday. So I'm trying to zoom in. So basically, you see every morning I've done a quiz for the past 3 days. I've done 25 questions each time, and my score is going up each time. So that's the trend I want to see. I basically want to make sure that my score is going up. So this is all before I've even completed any complete lectures on any topic. So I just wanted to show you guys that there is power in just doing practice problems, because you will learn from your mistakes. You will remember, like, oh, I don't quite remember that rule. And then if you get the question wrong, or even if you get the question right, you can read the explanatory answers. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is the quiz I did today. So you will see that each question comes with an explanation of the right and wrong answers. So it gives you the correct answer is, and then discusses the correct answer, and then it discusses each of the wrong answers. And each question, like, basically like tells you the rule associated with the answer choice and like why it was incorrect or correct or whatever. And it's such a good way to review and remind yourself even before you do the lectures. So I'm saying all that to say that I've heard from other people who were doing bar prep last year. Particularly one person told me like they were hesitant to do practice problems until they learned the whole subject, and they thought it would be a waste of time doing practice problems. But I think there's really like a lot of value in just going ahead from the beginning and just getting yourself in the rhythm of the different question types, getting used to the speed, how fast you have to answer questions, because even just in the 3 days that I've done quizzes, I've gotten faster. Like each time I've completed the quiz faster and faster. So, you know, obviously like it's probably not going to be this consistent upwards trend. Like there's probably going to be days that I do worse than others. But I just want to like really encourage people to like, when they're studying for any exam or any like the bar exams especially, like just make sure you're really spending time doing practice problems every day if you can, like from the beginning, because I think that's going to pay off, because you're going to learn while you're doing it if you take the time to obviously review your answers. And even if you get a question right, you might get it right for the wrong reasons. Like you could have guessed, or you could have just did process of elimination and just picked the right answer because you knew all the other choices were wrong, but you don't understand why that choice was right. So if you were to see that question again, you wouldn't be able to do process of elimination because the answer choices might be different. So you really want to make sure you understand why you got a question right. If you got it right because you actually understood the problem and you were able to deduce the answer before looking at the answer choices, or you got it right because you guessed or did process of elimination. So yeah, so there's so much value in just doing the problems. So yesterday I finished my first half of the evidence lecture. So today my goal is to do 5.5 hours of work on the Barbri website. So this PMBR stuff takes me about an hour and a half. Honestly, it takes me 45 minutes to do the quiz, and then I spend another 45 minutes reviewing my answers, because at this point in the game I want to review every question I did. Obviously, like as I'm getting closer to the exam, I won't have that kind of time because I'll be doing more questions. So I'm not gonna have time to review 100 answer explanations. I'll probably at that point just review the ones that I got wrong. So in the beginning, there's a lot of value, I think, in reviewing the ones you got right and wrong. So yeah, so yesterday I did the evidence lecture in this book, and Barbri supplies you with a physical copy of the lecture handouts, and they also have fillable PDFs so you can type your notes if you're a typer. I've always been a writer, so it's very imperative for me to have, you know, paper next to me and write my notes. I've wrote my notes all throughout law school. So I'll just show you what I did yesterday. So yesterday I did the first half of the lecture, which was 3 hours, so it was a lot. But yeah, so basically on each page of the lecture handout, you'll see basically the slides of the lecturer, and it will have the information on one side, and then you can write your notes on this side. I'm very messy when it comes to note taking. That's why I like writing, because I like to just write wherever I need to write, and I can't just, I don't know, I'm not a clean note taker, but it works for me. So basically I just write in the margins. I also write underneath the text if I want to add like little notes, or if I want to add numbers, asterisks, whatever. So as you can see here, it has the information that the professor is going through on this side, and then it has a whole bunch of space on this side for you to take notes. As you can see, my notes are all over the place, but it works for me. So if you are a person that writes your notes, you have the option of following along in a printed version, which I love.